Hello, friends. So I'm in Melbourne, hence the change in the background and everything. And I actually like Melbourne, but I'll do another video on Melbourne separately. So I finally watched Tere Ishq Mein here in Melbourne. That's like my first Indian movie in Melbourne, but second movie in general in Melbourne. The first movie was some Japanese movie. I forgot the name of that. So there's a Japanese film festival happening here in Melbourne. So I watched the movie on a second day, I believe. Like I came here last Wednesday. It's been a week. Okay, so I was just going through the YouTube reviews about Tere Ishq Mein. I haven't watched any of the reviews, but this is what I see. This guy, I watch his reviews like very often. He's good at his reviews. His thumbnail says WTF, and he's another guy whose reviews I watch. I don't know what MKC means. Is that some kind of a bad word or something like that? And this Hollywood reporter, Anupama, no, this is inanity disguised as profundity. I don't know what the fuck does it even mean. Like profundity, I understand. Inanity, I don't know. Like, so why do you use such complex words? I don't understand. Or maybe it's just complex because I'm not very good in English. Yeah, so I can see a lot of negative reviews maybe and some mixed reviews. I believe I haven't watched Ranjana, so I don't know what how the movie was and I can't compare it with this. But as a standalone movie, I can just give you guys my opinion and what I thought about the movie. Um, so there's whatever information I'm going to tell you is already there on Wikipedia, so I'm not necessarily going to give any spoilers or anything like that. But I found it to be like one of those 90s style love stories where typically like men would like lower middle class men would typically fall in love with some rich upper caste girl, and then how like what happens, that the yeah, that is pretty much how they used to make movies in the 90s, right? So they could call this like divine love or whatever. Like they try to give this larger than life kind of treatment. At the end of the day, is love. It's a physical thing, right? There's nothing spiritual or beyond like a higher level meaning or anything like that. At least that's my opinion. But in the 90s they had this a trend of like romanticizing it, portraying love as something like really sacred. And I yeah, there's still some in some villages, we can see honor killings and this and that happening. But I think this movie is like a return to one of those intense 90s style romance, I would say. But yeah, that's like a kind of a summary. But we'll discuss one by one what I thought about the different aspects of the movie. So the story is like this Mukti is played by Kriti Sanon. She is like a PhD researcher in a university or whatever, and she is doing some research trying to prove violence can be controlled, and then she uses Dhanush for her experiment. But Dhanush falls in love with her, and then what happens after that, whether they get together or whether something else happens, is the rest of the story. But I couldn't actually truly understand just by the portrayal of Kriti Sanon whether she was also in love with him, or whether she like genuinely was not in love with him, but like she had this kind of a guilty conscience, and like she pitied him more than she fell in love with him. I don't know. I still don't know. That's to me is still unclear. They I don't know, they like in the movie they kind of reveal it, but it's a bit complicated. I don't wanna give away the spoiler on that. So fundamentally, there's this class conflict, right? Like she's from a really rich family, like a daughter of some MP or something like that, and this guy is just like a lower middle class, like poor kind of guy. So whenever there's love between these entities involved, unless like both the parties are like truly like madly deep in love with each other, there's going to be heartbreaks. There's going to be issues, right? If it's one-sided, it's there's going to be issues, and that's what this movie also deals with. But it's very cinematic in the way that it deals with it. That's why I said like 90s style. It's very cinematic. Things, so certain things are not believable at all. Like this whole thesis or research about this kind of like King Kong, beauty taming the beast kind of thing. It's a bit too in 2025. I think it's a bit too uh, cinematic, right? Even for 90s it was cinematic, but like that was the norm at that time. But now in 2025, I don't know. Like, and on top of that, like why this Dhanush character is Tamil? I don't understand that part, because he could have been uh, any guy, any lower middle class guy, right? Like the plot is in Benares, I believe. It could have been any guy from Benares. I don't understand why he had to be a Tamil, why there had to be that. Because that doesn't like that doesn't like contribute anything to the movie in any way. This movie would be the same if we had not been a Tamil or some normal some lower class UP guy. Like I don't know why they had to bring in that Tamil boy perspective. As another thing, like these I you see just before we saw the review of the Hollywood Reporter, right? So I already had the feeling like even before, when I reacted to the trailer, I kind of expected that this is how the movie is going to be, like a really intense kind of a romance, and we've been missing that for a long time now, and it's actually I felt actually good, watching such intense love story after a long time. The last time I remember watching it was sometime in the early 2000s, like a Selva Raghavan's movies. If you guys are aware of it, like I'm talking about the non-Tamil audience. He used to make such intense romance movies. That this was back in early 2000s, I would say, right? Early mid 2000s. But like he has not been making good movies in the recent times, so it's kind of a void. That's what I mentioned in my trailer reaction as well, and I think it has filled that void. Like I'm not sure how much of a box office, or how whether it's doing well at the box office or what, but whatever the trailer promised, at least that much I got. But I'm pretty sure that uh, the left wingers in general, they won't be happy with this movie, which is evident from the Anupama Chopra's review, right? Because they are so used to worshipping toxic femininity in Bollywood. Anything that challenges that idea, or anything that makes women accountable for any of their activities, they would reject it. They would call it inanity or this and that, some fancy English word they are going to use, and then dismiss it, right? That's exactly what I thought when I watched the when I watched the thumbnail of that review. Profundity, inanity, and bullshit. What the fuck? So, if you read something like that, you know that the review is not for you. It's not for common. They had to use a Hollywood lingo, whatever, right? but it's not bad, is what I'm trying to say. So there's this guy who like falls head over heels in love with this girl because she's beautiful. She's obviously beautiful. Why to choose such a plot? I don't know. Like that's what the director chose. But like you can't not fall in love with Kriti Sanon. She's just beautiful, right? And and she exploits him for her research, and then maybe she feels guilty about it or whatever, or maybe she actually falls in love with him through the process or whatever. Her reactions are like, her acting is beautiful too, like really intense. But I wasn't still sure whether she actually was in love with him or um, so there's a bit of like even within the movie there's this word that she used, like, oh, you still alpha, you still angry, this and that. But I don't understand why Bollywood and in general the left wingers hate the word alpha, because alpha men pretty much run the society. Run, like, if there's a war, who goes and fights in the war? It's mostly the alpha men, right? Like, see what's happening in the Russia-Ukraine war. Like, where are all the feminists there? I don't think like feminists are nowhere to be found in when there's a war situation, right? So when everything is like civil and whatnot, that's when they come in. I mean, this and that. They talk all kind of shit. But we need alpha men. Like, all masculinity is not toxic. That's what. But I think that's what the Bollywood thinks it is, and they have borrowed heavily from Hollywood as well, right? The Hollywood Reporter has come to India as well right now. See, but we need masculinity just the way we need femininity. And I'm not saying all women are toxic, all femininity is toxic. I'm not saying that. But there is toxic femininity as well, right? And but for the left wingers, they don't seem to understand, like, grasp this difference. For them, all femininity is females are victims, and males are like the, what do you call, what's the opposite of victim? I forget about it. So there's a bit of that, like Bollywood's understanding of toxic masculinity that's portrayed. At least that's what she think Dhanush is. And but he's an angry man. I don't like he and he also explains why he's angry. There's like a little flashback kind of a thing, and yeah. So, and also there's like a kind of a mystical angle to the story as well. There's if you watch the movie, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. There's Benares, and then the whole thing, like, will Shankar get mukti, and that itself is like a kind of a spiritual angle to it. You see what I mean? I have a feeling maybe what the director intended is like, if you, there's even one character that I didn't completely understand what that guy was saying, but he comes briefly uh, explains how what love is and how Shankar will never get mukti, both in a spiritual sense as well as in love. There's something that's very interesting. The angle that the director took, like that, I still don't understand like why like the director wanted to have that um, have that angle portrayed in the movie, but it adds a little bit of uh, spiritual mystical element to the movie. I actually like that. Oh, also like you can there's a little bit of how men turn sims, for the just for the love of a woman, say with the whole Akash Singh situation and all of that. But he doesn't go, Dhanush doesn't go full simp, full 100% simp, he doesn't go. But yeah, so there's a little bit of that as well. See, I actually I liked it. I won't say I loved it, but I liked it. I would say like it's a decent movie. It's a decent watch. I wasn't disappointed, but it could have been a lot better. It could have been like it could have if it had not been like that this cinematic, I would have liked it even more. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye.